What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Killer Cam Frank coming back at you with another Madden 24 banger. And today we're going to be talking about defense for trips tight end. In our last video we went over gun bunch defense and how to dominate your opponents online and hopefully stop them from scoring any points whatsoever. We are going over all the most meta formations and how to completely shut them down with the best defensive formation in the game, in my personal opinion, and that is going to be $3-2. So if you guys did enjoy the last video, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, turn that noti bell on so you're notified every time I put a video out just like this or the last video. Like I said, we went over gun bunch. Today we're going to go over trips tight end, and the next video we're going to go over gun tight, and we're going to cover all the basics for all of the most meta formations and help you dominate online. Let's hop right into it. Alright fellas, so we're back here in practice mode. Today we're going to be talking about trips tight end defense. And I think trips is making a comeback as one of the more popular formations in the game. Once again, we are in the Jets offensive playbook. Why are we in the Jets offensive playbook? Because it has pretty much every single meta formation in the game. This stretch of trips tight end, bunch strong, offset, bunch tight end, tight offset tight end. These are probably the 5 best formations in the game, at least the 5 most meta formations in the game, and they are all back to back to back to back to back in a playbook. The audible scheme is pretty crazy. If you can get this down, there's just a ton you can do with this. But last video we went over how to defend gun bunch. You can use those same principles to defend gun bunch, strong offset. We will go over some specific tips for this eventually, but today we're going to be talking about trips tight end. And trips tight end is a formation that gives a lot of people a lot of trouble. And my philosophy with trips tight end is you want to make people make quick reads and hopefully throw you at least a couple interceptions throughout the game. I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite setups against trips like I did with bunch, and we're going to be coming out in DB Fire pretty much every single time, and we're going to be adjusting around that. Everybody's favorite quick snap play out of trips tight end, and it has been like this for a long time, is going to be verticals. And how are we going to defend against verticals? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to user this guy right here pretty much every single time. One, you user the guy on the trip side. That gives them the threat of maybe they can lurk me if I try to quick throw the seams. And 2, we are going to use this linebacker in coverage, and I like to have him a little bit farther on that weak side of the field, because what we're going to do with him, you guys will see here in just a second. So my favorite setup against verticals and against trips in general is this. So basically we're going to, I'll reset the play for you. So we're going to press, we're going to put our outside corner on the trip side and an outside third. We're going to man up the slot receiver, the innermost slot receiver. We're going to put our linebacker in an outside third. We're going to scissor the tight end and the running back right here. And basically, if the running back goes out on any kind of route to the right side of the field, which he would, because he's on the right side of the field, unless he runs like an in route or something. But even if he does, we're not too worried about that. Our user will be there. Most people are going to run a tight end drag with this vertical setup. This is probably the most popular vertical setup in the game. So I'm going to basically play just how I would with my user right here. Anywhere this receiver goes, we're going to follow with this setup. If he runs a corner out, we're going to follow with the corner. If he runs a crosser, we're going to follow with the crosser. So I'm just going to demonstrate that right here, and I'm going to actually try to make a read. And you're going to see that it's not going to be very easy to do so. As we can see, the pressure comes in really fast. You can maybe throw the tight end drag, but that is a really, really sketchy throw right there. One thing we can also do, if you want to get really risky, is if you want to user this guy, you can throw this guy on a curl flat, a 5-yard curl flat. Same adjustments on the backside, but you really have to follow this innermost slot receiver, Hyatt right here. If you do that, because if he goes vertical, you have to run with him, and you have to make sure that you are there with your user. You have to run with him, and obviously you could pick that off. I just don't love using a receiver because it can get sketchy real fast, which is why I like this setup. Obviously, I didn't mean to do that right there. I was on the wrong controller, but that's how fast you can set it up. Our defense is all set up. If you want to shade down, you can shade down. If you shade down, I would move this guy back a little bit. One thing is if the tight end goes on a streak or a corner route, if you're shaded down like that, it can get a little dicey. And two, there's a possibility that the seam streak from Jerry Rice right here absolutely burns his man. So I'll go ahead and snap the ball, and we're shaded down. Not really. They didn't really have time to get it off. The only time I really like to shade down in this situation is if they are quick throwing this seam route pretty much every single time. Because if you don't move this guy down right here, a lot of time when you're playing against some people that are quick snapping verticals, what can happen is people will throw this real quick, just like that, and eventually it'll get picked, especially if you catch them when you're shaded down just one time. Your safety will come down and pick that pretty much every single time, which is why I get to how I have my AP set up. I really like to have two corners at safety. Both of them have medium route KO, and that completely eliminates the seams for me. So if anybody tries to throw anything in the seams, that's completely dead. But like I said, those are my favorite setups against verticals. What other people are going to do at a trips tight end are flood concepts. And that goes back to us using this guy right here, because these same things are going to apply. If we set this up just like this, basically all we have to look out for right here is whatever this guy does. I know it's a little sketchy using a receiver, but if you know he's going on a corner, you can run with a corner. And even if he does go on a crossing route, like the verticals crossing route, one cool thing about this setup is if they don't, like say they block their running back and try to buy a little bit of time, even motion him over, ID, step up in the pocket, all those things. Even if they do that, like by the time that receiver crosses the face, most likely your pressure is going to get there. And like I said, you're following that receiver anyway, so you really don't have to worry about it too much. So the only other thing that you're going to see a whole lot out of trips is meshing concepts, stuff like this. And in that case, we can use our universal setup, which is just basically a cover 3 shell, send 5, use in the middle. I like this cover 3 shell, especially out of trips, or when we're facing trips, because this guy and an inside third does a really good job at playing the seams. Now you can put this guy on inside third too, and like move him over a little bit. And even if they play verticals, like if they run verticals right here and you're using this guy, it does a pretty good job against the seams. Like you can maybe throw Jerry Rice right there, but when you have a guy biting down the way that curl flat is, I can show you when we run verticals right here, there's a chance that gets picked off just because he's flying down to the flat since he's in a 5-yard curl flat. That's going to get picked off a lot of the time. So this is really good defense against this tough guys. This is one of the more popular formations in the game. This is a route combo that you're going to see quite a bit. Obviously, I didn't set up any defense right there. But that's a route combo you're going to see quite a bit. Comeback routes are really good this year, guys. They're really good. So you want to make sure that you're looking out for them. But if if they have slot apprentice, which they probably do if they're running trips tight end, this is a really good setup. This is going to bag pretty much anything at a trips tight end. One thing you can do also is if you really want to get fancy, you can double Mabel that side right there and roll your coverage. If you do that, you have to look out for the middle of the field and the flats yourself. If you don't want to look out for the flats on that right side, you can put this guy in a flat right here. So this is just basically like a double Mabel cover 3 look. But I like to send pressure against trips, so we can like take away the running back and basically just look out for, like, do something like that, which is a really easy setup out of DB Fire. If we think that the middle of the field is going to be vacated, if we think they're sending somebody vertical in the middle of the field, like that slot receiver or a running back streak, tight end streak, anything like that. So if you guys want to just set that up really quick, that'll do a great job against any kind of flood concepts as well, which is super popular at a trips tight end. So I just want to give you guys a couple different looks on how to play defense against trips. One thing that you really can get people with is that double Mabel cover 4 look, and just roll your coverage around it. So basically, this guy is in a half, this guy's in a third, this guy's in a third, and even if you don't want to have a third on that side, you can do something like this, so you can still send a little bit of pressure. There's a lot of different things you can do against trips tight end guys, but people are going to attack that left sideline pretty heavy. They're going to attack the seams pretty heavy, and they're going to mesh pretty heavy. And if we can take away the tight end and the running back and just worry about this left side of the field, then we're in good shape, especially if we isolate just one receiver whose routes we have to worry about. Now, if they have their outside receiver on like an in route, or they have their middle receiver on like a post or something like that, we have to look out for that over the middle. But you guys will figure out their tendencies the more you play against certain players. Like I said, I'm going to go pretty in-depth against every single formation, how I like to set up defense against them. I just want to give you guys some ideas of how to freestyle on your own to hopefully help you win more games if you're struggling against these formations. I hope this video helped. If it did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, turn on that noti bell so you're notified every single time I put out a new video. Just like this, we're going to do a video series where we take Madden tips from the very, very, very most beginner levels all the way up to advanced, serious, high-level tips, and hopefully help everybody become better Madden players along the way. So as always, it's your boy Killer Cam Friend, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.